Hello everyone, my name is Ralica and this video is a part of a project I'm conducting for a research. It's designed to show the functionalities of the virtual classroom Vedamo. It's going to be a short lecture on one of the most famous British authors, Angela Carter. Who is Angela Carter? If you haven't heard her name, you've missed to enjoy prose, which influenced numerous British and world-known authors. Salman Rushdie calls her a very good wizard and a very dear friend. Kazuo Ishiguro thanks her in his Nobel lecture. You have the link of the committee, but first I'm going to play for you the part.
Around the corner, but it's hard to believe that England is Malcolm Bradbury and Angela Carter. And
this very brief mentioning here can be watched at nobelprize.org. Margaret Atwood too, alongside other female British authors, acknowledges her influence. In the very words of Jeanette Winterson, every female author is indebted to Carter. Carter started writing in the 1960s, and she continued until her death in 1992. That prevented her from writing a sequel to Bronte's Jane Eyre. Her early works won her enough recognition to attract critics' reactions. Her debut novel, Several Perceptions, was said to be greatly influenced by the American cast on Mac covers, to which Angela Carter responded with what turned to be a milestone in understanding her works of fiction. I do put everything into a novel to be read. Read the way allegory was intended to be read. The way you're supposed to read Sir Gawain and the Green Knight, on as many levels as you can comfortably cope with at the time. Carter worked as a journalist and spent time in Japan, which not only influenced her life and writing, but also drew her close to Roland Barthes's experience of the country. Japanese culture, French theoretical influence, and her own radicalized thinking of self resulted in the Infernal Desire Machines of Dr. Hoffman, a highly controversial piece of delicious fiction. In her own theoretical approach to literature and in her work as a translator and an editor, Carter was not only a prolific writer, but a great thinker. She was able to own provocative ideas in her fiction. Gender, sexuality, and power, stereotypes and socially constructed perceptions of femininity and much more constituted the core of her short stories and novels. Alice Smith, in the preface to Essays on the Art of Angela Carter, compiles a list of what constantly appears in Carter's fiction. Art, high and low, artifice and all who sail in her, Britishness, carnival, cinema, class, clockwork mechanisms and timeless human story, Englishness, fear and its antidote laughter, feminism, folklore, language, the mother, myth, performance, politics, power, and who has it, and how to get it, profanity and its uses, real and fake, and so much more. It's impossible to tell everything about Carter's fiction or to summarize the scope of her talent. However, both in her theoretical work, The Silent Woman, and her editorial work, Wayward Girls and Wicked Women, she manages to stay true to her literary ideas. Carter's project, as Warner Sage comments, was to rethink, reshape, redo literary and social myths, to put new wine in old bottles, as she herself accounts. Her fascination with remaking fairy tales culminated in the collection of short stories, The Bloody Chamber. Truly remarkable, the stories in the book include the piece The Lady of the House of Love, the plot of which was first made into a radio play for the BBC by Carter herself. If you're interested in listening to the piece, you can find it at this website or search it on YouTube. Carter admits her fascination with fairy tales and especially with the story of Beauty and the Beast, which appears as the subject to two of the stories included in the Body Chamber. In a talk with Terry Jones, Carter elaborates upon the courtship of Mr. Lion and jokes on the moral blackmail aspect of it. More on that interview you can find on the website angelacarteronline.com, from where this still was taken. The Body Chamber fed material and for Carter's screenplay of the film The Company of Ooze, released in 1984. Film and Carter liked each other because the screen could mediate her vivid, ambitious fiction. As a conclusion, I'd like to quote one of my personal favorites of Carter's works, The Night at the Circus. The spiraling tornado of Fever's laughter began to twist and shudder across the entire globe, as if a spontaneous response to the giant comedy that endlessly unfolded beneath it, until everything that lived and breathed everywhere was laughing, or so it seemed. To the deceived husband, who found himself laughing too, even if he was not quite sure whether or not he might be the butt of the joke. Fever, sputtering to a stop at last, crouched above him, covering his face with kisses. Oh, how pleased with him she was! To think I really fooled you, she marveled. It just goes to show there is nothing like confidence.